So, hello and welcome to Eddie's Corner News, and this is going to be a longer video than my usual shorts because I have a lot I want to say about Gypsy Rose Blanchard. I want to start with the fact that I think, and it's all allegedly my opinion for educational and whatever purposes only, it's my estimation that the trouble really started when Gypsy started becoming an anxious teenager. And she wanted her life to change, and but she still wanted all the perks. She wanted it all. She wanted to go to Disneyland as a child, and she wanted to go to those con conventions as an adult female looking for adult males. And as soon as all that started happening, I have a feeling, and this is my opinion only, that she started actually abusing her mother. I think that she encouraged her mother to keep the con going, that she would be a good little girl and pretend to be disabled. Why do you think they had the windows all blacked out? Because she wasn't being forced to be in the wheelchair all the time, only when they were out in public where people could see them. Otherwise, I'm sure she was hopping around the house like a little jackrabbit. That's why they had the windows covered, people. But anyway, once she started getting into her older teens, 16, 17, 18, that's when all hell broke loose because she was going to get what she wanted come hell or high water, and no matter who she had to plow through to get it. And because her mother wasn't cooperating with her all the time, she became the enemy. So probably about 17, 18, and she started pursuing men, adult men, at these costume convention things. Um, and I don't think that Gypsy's mother was so much panicked over the fact that she disappeared for hours and was found in a man's room because she was in danger, but because what was in danger was for her being exposed. And that's why she was upset about it. But anyway, I think that the abuse towards her mother continued to grow into Gypsy's later teens and into her early 20s. And I think that as soon as Dee Dee started getting sick and couldn't cater to Gypsy's needs anymore, it was time to start planning to get rid of her. We know she's tried many times, once even with a pew-pew that she thought was a real pew-pew, but it ended up being a BB or a pellet. Must have been a BB because pellets can hurt. Anyway, so she did that. I mean, she pulled the trigger 10 times. That's not a mistake. That's not the trigger slipped or something. That's all she probably. That's probably all there was in there was the 10 BBs or whatever. So there you go. And then apparently there was another time where she tried to poison her mother, allegedly. So, and all this stuff about taking all these drugs that she didn't need to take. She wasn't taking anything she wasn't supposed to take. Give me a break. Look at all those drugs in the closet in her house. Most of them aren't even opened. They just collected that shit to make it look good, to make it look like Gypsy was a sickly child. Anyway, then we get to her deciding that she's going to go online and find herself a dupe to help her with her mom problem. And so she gets lucky and she meets Nick. Well, there you go. You got a guy that's got supposedly a low IQ. I don't know about that, but he's definitely on the autism spectrum, and I still use the word Asperger's, uh, and that's the level he's at. Um, and most of his problems are social, and not just social as in socializing with people, but also having filters and what do you call them, brakes for certain impulses that he just really lacks because of being on the spectrum. And so here you go. Here's a young man desperate to have a girlfriend, desperate to just be normal, and so Gypsy comes along and just absolutely takes advantage of the whole situation. She uses her little dominatrix and her little other little play toy characters and personas to hook Nick more and more in, and all this love and everything. And so, of course, Nick was just desperate to be with Gypsy, and but he's the one that kept saying, why can't you just leave? And she was the one that insisted that the only way that she could get away from her mother was if her mother was not around permanently. Right up to the last minute, poor Nick didn't want to do anything like what happened. But I'm telling you, something happened before that night, allegedly. If you ask me, this is what happened. The guy in the raincoat was there prior to Nick being there. And he must have come back while Nick was there to do some quick whatever needed to be done to, I don't know, whatever situation they needed to get the guy with the with the raincoat back over there. Or maybe he was just in hiding most of the time. But I'm telling you, it makes total sense, and this is allegedly, it makes total sense that she and whoever it could have been Dan allegedly, or it could have been that other guy that we all know, the big guy there. I'm not going to mention his name. So anyway, it was either one of those two guys in a raincoat to keep blood from spattering on them, and they did something to Dee Dee. We don't need to say what, while she was incapacitated in a wheelchair in the living room where they found spatters of blood, of Dee Dee's blood. Then, once she was near expiring, they wheeled her into her bedroom, put her into bed, staged it, and then got Nick round to take the fall for everybody. She mailed that knife back to Nick's family's house to frame him, allegedly. So, see, none of this started yesterday. And Ryan was a total pawn to get out of jail. She never intended on staying with them. She intended all the time to get back with, what's his name? Ken. That was always the plan. As soon as her parole was up, she was going to leave Ryan. She was going to make up all kinds of stories about him being abusive and horrible and this, that, and the other thing, so that she could justify leaving him, go to her family's house for a little while. Lo and behold, Ken shows up, but Ken showed up too early. So Ryan got dumped a lot sooner than that was supposed to happen. But as soon as she could get her hooks in on Ken again, she was in. And she intentionally, allegedly, got pregnant that very first time that they were together. That jazz festival or whatever. But this is all alleged. I'm not saying this is fact. I'm saying this is only something that could have happened, but it makes sense. And now, the poor little dear has lost her Ken boy. And you know what? Once she's over that, over the fact that somebody actually had the nerve and audacity to leave her, she's going to just take that baby and try to grift the hell out of it. And if she can't grift with the baby, she'll find some way of dumping her. So there you go. That's my 2 cents, and it's a very long 2 cents. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed my little commentary and understand it once again that it's not fact. It's just my supposition and my opinion only. Have a good night, people. Subscribe, please. Comments, likes, all that stuff. Bye-bye.